So I'm going to talk about how the internet is more important than the printing press was to the global spreading of knowledge. And I'm going to look at this through the lens of evolution, almost an analogy on nature, where you can think of knowledge and ideas as an organism in themselves, undergoing an evolutionary process where two ideas can come together and form a new idea. And you can see how this is analogous to a species. And you can think of the environment shaping these species in many different ways, where the environment is the internet or a printing press. Now let's just think of what the environment would look like if you're that species, right? The internet is very, it's global. You can reach a lot of connections very shortly, very quickly, and it's relatively decentralized, where everyone has an equal voice around the world. Now move into the printing press. It's a very localized system. It's very slow. It takes a lot of resources, and again, it's just a very localized, more central system that passes through, right? So in making our spreading of knowledge as a species be able to spread faster, we want to look to nature in a biomimicry method to find the best solutions and the best systems approaches to making that work, and see which environment is more adaptable and more efficient at spreading knowledge. And another thing is that the internet will actually shrink the space and time required to make new connections. So back to this idea of ideas as an organism in themselves. Now, looking to the environment, we want to make a decentralized system because nature is in fact decentralized, and this decentralized system promotes diversity and promotes adaptation. And we see this decentralized system to be effective because it allows everyone to understand and contribute to the knowledge pool and gain more resilience. So you don't have these knowledge sections collapsing, right? And this diversity allows for, just like in nature, a biodiversity, and leads to a better species, a more successful species. And in fact, it doesn't make it into one train of thought, doesn't filter it, through one train of thought. And we see this in nature because it is the most resilient system that it has created, and some can argue that maybe global centralized hierarchies just aren't sustainable in the long term. So we want to map, again, the knowledge to be able to spread like an organism in how we see organisms spread in nature, through a very localized but horizontally structured system that can each node can contribute just as equally as the other node, which it's localized in its area but also global in its approach. Now another reason why internet is better than the printing press is because it shrinks the space and time between connections to allow for more connections and more adaptability, in a sense. Just as a fruit fly producing more cycles of life can have more adaptation than a longer life species organism. Now, it shrinks the space and time because it is, again, like I said, a lot less resources, and each iteration doesn't take a lot of time. So it shortens the lag time between the conception of an idea and the actual accessibility to others globally. And it makes me, standing here, a lot closer to the other side of the planet. Now I can know their culture, I can understand new ideas, and get more of a, less bias, less prejudice, and really share knowledge a lot more abundantly. So we talked about how internet shapes more of a natural world and the way organisms thrive compared to a local, pretty central printing press. And we saw how diversity and decentralization can really contribute to a more resilient and in line with reality method to sharing knowledge, and just how it is a lot more efficient and a lot quicker to spread the knowledge and shrink how far it may be from the other side of the planet to here, which will allow for a lot more connections, just like in nature, allowing for more biodiversity, more connections, more adaptability. And overall, the internet is just a better system, like I said, more in line with reality and nature to spread knowledge much more effectively.